framework of the K-12 basic education curriculum. Okay, so the classroom assessment, the K-12 basic curriculum is an integral part of both teaching and learning. It evaluates the needs of every learner while fostering the necessary skills necessary for success in the 21st century. So the policy guideline, as you can see, which is the Deputy Order number 8 series of 2015, highlights the importance of the classroom assessment in achieving the goals necessary for the skills acquisition of the learners. So next, it is rooted in the theoretical basis, which is the zone of proximal development by Vygotsky. So the first one is first in the theoretical basis zone of proximal development by Vygotsky is appropriate assessment is implemented to ensure learning success to move from guided to independent display of knowledge, understanding, and skills. So in here, it emphasizes that students are influenced by guided learning. So the process of teaching is called scaffolding, where teachers are teaching students step by step so that they could enable and foster mastery, which in turn could guide them to independent display of knowledge, understanding, and skills. So that is the letter A. Next, the B is enable learners to transfer knowledge, understanding, and skills successfully in future situations. So this emphasizes that all of learning of the students should be meaningful, and where all of their learnings can be used in the real-world scenarios, not just in academic situations, but also they could use their knowledge in the real-world situations. So next, assessment facilitates the development of learners' higher order thinking and 21st century skills. So the different assessment should facilitate or should develop the learner's higher order thinking and 21st century skills. So the assessment that the learners would develop their higher order thinking skills and develop their problem solving skills, their creativity, and their critical thinking skills that they can use in the outside world or the real world na jud na naa sila situation nila. Next is the assessment in the K-12 basic education program highlights the first one, which is the diversity of learners inside the classroom. So this emphasizes that learners have different types of specifications, like different types of assessment, right? Like multiple choice, mistakes, and many others. And among those assessment, mga iya-iya nga where students kay kanang bansay or master adong assessment. So the assessment in the K-12 basic education program kay ilahang bikuan ang diversity of learners. Next is the need for multiple ways of measuring their variety, abilities, and learning potentials. So for since we as people should naman tayo different ways or different perspectives in life, natin different abilities and capabilities. So the assessment in the K-12 basic education curriculum measures the different abilities and learning potentials of the students. So that is the purpose of the assessment. So next is the role of learners as co-participants in the assessment process. So of course, during the assessment, learners should be the an active participant of the assessment process. Kaya dapat, because they will be the one who will undergo the process. Next, so would be the next would be the what is classroom assessment that would be tackled by Sunshine.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Rika. So, what is classroom assessment? Classroom assessment is a systematic process that teacher uses to evaluate students' learning and improve the quality of teaching and learning. It involves gathering evidence of what students know, understand, and can do. Classroom assessment is the continuous process of gathering information about student learning. So, very, makita ba ito, ang isang teacher, yan ang mag-gather siya information about siya mga students kung unsay ka na may ilang mahibalan o usapay need improve sa usa ka teachers if ang student kay wala ka sabot. They are nangilailangan nga sa students na ay school learner na ako'y fast learner. So ang teacher yun na ilang i-assess usa ka estudyante kung nakuha ba niya ang kana nga topic or kana nga lesson. The next is, why is it important? Why is it important? Anong importante man ang classroom assessment? First is guide instructions. Teacher can adjust their teaching methods based on students' needs. So, guide instructions, ang teacher ani, mag-adjust sila sa ilang teaching methods based sa students' needs. Kay what if ang kanang students kay wala ka touch up, no? Ikaw nga teacher, you need to adjust your pamaagi, no? I-adjust din mo yung pamaagi kay not all students man kay fast learner na good night slow learners. And then, second, provide feedback. Students are receive information about their progress which help them improve. Yes, so dapat natay feedback sa atong estudyante. Natay feedback sa atong students every time nga nahimo, no? Na-gather na mga kwan. Ilang i-share na diya sa atubangan. So ikaw, as a teacher, iwag na silang i-feedback, no? Right, kay makahimo ka na nila nga kanang kwan. Ilang ka na himuon nga sila gani? Russian, motivation nila sila tawagaliton ba nga na sila yung feedback. So, mo na ilang buhaton. If ever nga na ay mga negative feedback, ilang sila yung motivations no nga. Okay, hindi pa na mo i-improve ang ingani, kaya mo ay feedback ni sure. The third one is measure students' growth. Teacher can track student progress over time and identify areas where they need more support. So, as a teacher, as an educator, atuwa yun lang i-check ang atong mga student from time to time. Why? Because walang kahibalo ka na student is naghilom-hilom na siya diha. No? Kahit noon, wala din siya kasabot ni teacher. So, ikaw, as a teacher, as an educator, you need to check your students from time to time, no? Kaya para makakuwansad ka nga, galisod din bata, aning topic, naglisod din bata, aning topic. And then, ma-identify sa mo kung asa ka, unsay need mo ma-support, or unsay need mo ma-improve pa sa teacher. Then the fourth one is informs grading. Assessment results contribute to a student's overall grades. Okay, budget sa teachers, kita ang nagdasa ay kita mo yung mag-imo grades sa atong students kung sa ilang yata. So, one of sa teachers, kung sa yata sa students, ma-recognize, ma-report sa teachers. So, mauna sila ang why is it important mo? Kasi ang four nga mga pamaagi, no? The next, what is the connection between to be tackled by teacher Chinese?
So now, let's move on to the connection between and among curriculum standards, cognitive processes, dimensions, and the huge hub. So first, the the content standards and the performance standards. So, what is content standards? So, content standard are the scope of the sequential topics that need to be taught to the students. So, muna yung mga topic or mga sequence sa topic na itudlo sa mga bata din. These are the intended knowledge that the students need to learn. Performance standards, these are the skills and abilities that the students need to demonstrate in relation to the content standard. So, the level of assessment is the knowledge, the process, understanding, and the product. But first, let's discuss what is the knowledge. So, the knowledge will answer the question, what should students know? And this will align with the cognitive process dimension. So, di ba, sa cognitive, kung naman ay sa Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So, in the knowledge, it falls to the remembering. So, the students can identify, recognize, duplicate, memorize, reproduce. So, the student will be able just to recall. Simply mo niya ang lower order thinking skills na hindi pa kayo siya high. So, in the applying sa performance standards sa knowledge, the students can execute, implement, demonstrate, dramatize, interpret, solve, use, illustrate, convert, and discover. And next will be the process. Kung may content standard sa process. So, in the process, the student will answer the question, what can students do with the information or fact they have in relation to familiar situations? So, in this, there is skills and capabilities na ma-demonstrate sa student. So, the student will be able to interpret, classify, summarize, infer, compare, explain, and paraphrase. And in the performance standards, what are in the level of assessment, this will answer to the question, what are the evidence, what they can do with the information and facts they have. So, nana siya yung ma-demonstrate kanina skills and yung skills or kanang output kanina sa performance standards in relation to the content standard. So, it falls to the cognitive process dimension, applying the learner can execute, implement, demonstrate, dramatize, interpret, solve, use, illustrate, convert, discover. So, analyzing, the learner can differentiate, distinguish, compare, contrast, organize, outline, so muna yung mga verb that falls in the performance standard. Next will be the understanding. So, in the level of assessment, in the content standard, this will answer the question, what brief connection to a wider context and depth, insights and reflection of understanding do the students have regarding the information and facts that they know. So, in the cognitive process dimension, under the content standard, the student will be able to interpret, simplify, infer, summarize, compare, explain, paraphrase. And in the performance standard, this will answer to the question, what are the evidence? So, nanin siya yung makita na skills na in relation to the content standard as what I have said earlier. So, in the cognitive process dimension, this will, the learner can differentiate, distinguish, compare, contrast, organize, outline, attribute, and then evaluating, the learner can coordinate, measure, detect, judge, argue, debate, critique, and evaluate. So, next will be, this is where the higher order thinking skills na jud ba fully apply sa level of assessment na performance or product, because this will answer to the question, what innovation in terms of products and performances are learners able to do? So this falls to the in the performance standard, the students this will answer to the question, what are the evidence that the learners can use to transfer their learning in real life and for different situations? So, nanay holistic nga applications of the knowledge sa real world nga scenario or situations, or the knowledge that they gain kay ma-apply na nila sa real world nga mga activities. There is a holistic nga output that the students will be able to produce. So, the performance standard, it was in the cognitive process dimension, the learner can execute, implement, demonstrate, dramatize, interpret, solve, use, illustrate, convert, disorder, and it falls to the higher order thinking skill, creating. So the learner can generate, hypothesize, plan, design, develop, produce, construct, formulate a simple design or device. If in the content standards, the students will just recall. In the performance standard, the students will demonstrate the skills. In the performance or product level of assessment, the student will create or they will produce something in order that the objectives makuha na nila, that the teachers can know that the students truly achieve what is the content standards all about. So the connection of these three is that curriculum standards guide what students should learn, and cognitive processes define what students think, demonstrate learning, and keep up, or the knowledge, process, understanding, and products muna siya serve as the framework in assessing the aspects holistically. So from recalling to demonstrating until the students will be able to create something in relation from the content standard. So ano di siya kanang align and kanang magbaybalik na silang tulong connection. There is a very kanang related sila sa ang tulong. Ang curriculum standards, level of assessment of cognitive processes, dimensions, connected sila. And now I will give the floor to Teacher Alison to discuss the next.
So next is how our learners assist in the classroom. So first is formative assessment. So according to the UNESCO program on teaching and learning for students, sustainable future, UNESCO TLXF. So formative assessment is a way for teachers to check how well the students are learning while they are studying the topic. So this happened during the lesson, not at the end, para ma-check yung purpose is to improve the students and the teachers' development. Next is formative assessment refers to ongoing programs of assessment closely linked to the learning process. So today, a teacher might ask questions, give quizzes, or have students to do activities to see what they understand kung asa sila nag-discuss o sagot. Next is informal. Yes, it's not formal like a big test. Instead, it's more casual and happens naturally during the learning process. So it helps prepare learners for summative assessment. So formative assessment helps the learners to prepare para sa summative assessments like the final exams, the project, the standardized tests. Next, it is recorded but not included as basis for graded. So formative assessment is recorded but not graded. Next is when is formative assessment may be conducted. So before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. So before the lesson, so for the learners, know what he or she knows about the topic or lesson, understand the purpose of the lesson and how to do well in the lesson. Identify ideas or concepts she or she misunderstands. Identify barriers for learners. And for the teachers, get information about the learners already knows and can do about the new lesson. So share learning intention and success criteria to the learners. Determine misconception and identify what hinders the learnings. So next is during the lesson. So for the learners, identify one's strengths and weaknesses. Identify barriers for learners. Identify factors that help he or her learn knows she or she knows and does not know. Monitor his or she her progress.
identify what hinders the learning process, identify what facilitates the learning process, identify learning gaps, tracks learner progress in comparison to formative results prior to the lesson covered. And to make decision on whether to proceed with the next lesson, to teach or provide for corrective measures or reinforcement. So, last is the after the lesson. So, for the learner, tell and recognize she or he meet learning objectives and success criteria, and seek support through remediation, enrichment, or strategies. And for the teacher, is the assessment with whether learning objectives have been met for specified duration, remediate, and enrich with appropriate strategies as needed. Evaluate whether learning attention and success criteria have been met. Next is summative assessment. So, assessment of learning which occur at the end of the particular unit. So, summative assessment is a way to measure what students have learned after completing a topic or a unit. So, usually occur towards the end of a period or learning in order to describe the standard reached by the learner. So, it is called it's called assessment of learning because it checks how much the student know or can do after finishing a lesson or a topic. So, usually, it happens at the end of the learning period, like at the end of the chapter, theme, or course, and shows the level of achievement student has reached. So, results of summative assessment are recorded and are included in the computation of the final grade. So, the results of summative assessment are recorded and contribute to the student's final grade. This means that the performance or exam project as mini final assessment is used to calculate how well the student perform and contribute na siya sa overall performance niya sa kanyang grado. Next is, so this will be very descriptive. So next, we have the components of summative assessment. So the first one is, na-check all the components. So the first one is written work. So this ensures the students are able to express learned skills and concept in written form. This may include essays, long quizzes, kanang mga, okay, and other written output. And next, we have a performance task. So the performance task allows learners to show what they know and they are able to do in diverse ways. So, sa performance task, written work can also be part of the performance task since learners may create or innovate products or do performance-based tasks. Then lastly, we have the quarterly assessment. So quarterly assessment measures the students' learning at the end of the quarter. This may be in form of objectives, tests, performance-based assessments, or the combination sa duha. So any quarterly assessment is like sa DepEd na asalay ka na 4 quarters, which is first grading, second grading, third grading, fourth grading. Dili para sa college na para sa ilaha after sa first grading na asalay quarterly assessment. Like assess mo kung sa ilaha nakatunan from the first topic down to the last. And next, we have the differences between individuals and collaborative assessment. So, the first picture guides a individual assessment. So, individual assessment, the word itself, individual, so dili mo mabuo, but ikaw or usa. It can be done with one person only. And then, sa collaborative assessment, it can be done by group. It can be done by pairs or tulong mabuo. Or in short, it can be done one or more persons. The next
slide that is about grading system will be tackled by Roslyn.
So the next is what is grading system. So in kindergarten, grading system of kindergarten is checklist and includes all required portfolios are used instead of numerical grades, which are based on the kindergarten curriculum guide. So in short, ang grading system sa kindergarten is mag-base siya sa mga portfolios or like for example, kanang hatagan sila sa ilang mga teachers o kanang pagkoloran nila or mga something nga mag-bring home sa ilaha. Sa muna yung grading system sa kindergarten. So the next is the grade 1 through 12. Learners are graded on 3 components every quarter. First is their routine work, which is mga quizzes or mga long quizzes. The next is performance task or kanang performance task is mga activities nga ipabuhat sa mga teachers nga nag-base sa ilahang topic. Then, next is the quarterly assessments. Then, these components are given specific weight each vary. All grades will be based on the weighted draw score of the learner's summative assessments. The minimum grade needed to pass a specific learning area is 60, which is then transmitted to 75 in the report card. So, as you compare sa grading system sa kindergarten of grade 1 to 12 is dili siya same. Kaya ang kindergarten is ang ilang grading system is like what I said earlier is ang mga katong mga activities or mga kanang coloring di kolora nila nga ipas nila sa teachers. Then unlike sa grade 1 to 12 nga ilang grading system nga gamiton sa teacher is like mga quizzes, mga performance tasks, or mga kanang quarterly assessment. Then let's move on to the how is the learner progress recorded and computed. The first is compute the total score for each component. The second is compute percentage score for each component. Then convert percentage score to the weighted score. Then fourth, compute the initial grade. Then last is transmute the initial grade. So, para masabdan ninyo, let's have the example. Let's have step by step. So first is, for example, in mathematics subjects, we all know that our written work is not shy 40%, only sila ang mga long quizzes or mga short quizzes. Then ang performance task is 60%, only sila ang mga activities nga ipagbuhat sa mga teachers depende sa ilahang topic. Then first is compute percentage scores. So sa written work, like for example, over 100, ang nakuha sa student is 85. So, 85, mo siya i-divide over 100, then times 100. So, equals 85%. Then, sa iyong performance task is 120 over 150. So, 120, i-divide mo 150, then times 100. Mo ng 80%. The next step is compute weighted score. So, in sa written work, ay 40%. So, weighted score is 85. 85 magkaya na pumato. So, how to get decimal numbers sa 40%? So, imo siya, ang 40%, kaya imo siya i-divide into 100. So, muna, 34 ang equal sa ang nakuha sa written work. Then, sa performance task is 60%. So, iyang nakuha sa performance task is 80. Dayon, how to get the decimal number sa 60%. So, the same as sa written work. At 60%, i-divide mo siya into 100. So, which is equal ang 0.6. Dayon, 80 times 0.6 mo na 48. Then, the third is compute initial grade. So, i-add mo ang written work of the performance task. So, 34 plus 48 is 82. Then, the fourth one is transmute initial grade. Using transmutation table, an initial grade of 82 corresponds to quarterly grade of 87 based on the table indexed order number 8, 2015. So, dili jud ang imuhang equal like sa iyang equal is 82. So dili jud na mo imong final grade. Na sila table nga sundon. Like for example, dili ito ihang total pero sa final grade niya is nahimong 87. Na siya kanang gisundan nga table standard and order number 8, 2015. The next is how are grades computed at the end of the school year to be discussed by teacher Jasmine.
To elaborate more, how grades computed in kindergarten to grade 1 to 10 and grade 11 to 12. So how are grades computed at the end of the school year? So in kindergarten, checklist, individual records, and portfolios are presented to the parents at the end of each quarter for discussion. So in kindergarten, grades are not assigned numerically. Instead of checklists, anecdotal records, and portfolios assess students' progress based on established learning standards. So each child's development, especially in kindergarten, is documented through a portfolio because it contains sample of work such as artwork and completed activities, as what teacher Roslyn said ganyan ang activity nga magpa-color. And also, this method allows for comprehensive use of the child's learning journey, focusing on skills and behaviors rather than traditional grading tricks. At the end of the year or quarter, parents at the end of each quarter for discussion ka na mag-meeting ang teachers and mga parents nga kung saan ay during conference providing insight into the child's growth and achievements. Mag-meeting ang parents or teachers sila na i-end sa kanang quarter kay i-kuha sa teachers kung unsa ang kanang improve sa ilahang mga bata. And next is for grade 1 to 10. The average of the quarterly grades produces the final grade, and the general average is computed by dividing the sum of all grades by total numbers of learning areas. Each learning area has equal weight. So at the end of the school years for grade 1 to 10, final grades are computed by averaging the quarterly grades across all subjects. So sa tuan is i-computanan ang kanan nga subject i-add, and also each subject typically includes assessment, written works, performance tasks, and even quarterly assessment. So each assigns specific grades. For example, in subjects like language and science, a performance task might account 50 to 60%. Tapos ang contribute anin sa written work is 30 to 40%. So the final grade reported, di ba kung binata sa high school kay grade 1 to grade 10 is ang pasar nga grado is 75 man. So it is usually required for promotion. And next is for grade 11 and grade 12. So the average of the quarterly grades produces semestral final grade, and the general average is computed by dividing the sum of all semestral final grades by the total number of learning areas. So in grade 1 to grade 10, upat ilahang quarterly exam, while sa grade 11 and grade 12 is by semester. So at the end of the school year, grade 11 and grade 12 final grades are computed based on 2 quarters. So lahi siya sa grade 10 ay grade 1 to grade 10. So each quarter's performance is evaluated through written work performance and quarterly assessment. So to calculate the final grade in grade 11 and grade 12, first is sum the scores for all components. So i-add tanan ang kanang score sa imong kanang subject. And next is convert this to percentage scores. And third is calculate weight scores based on the component weights. And lastly, the total of these weight scores give the initial grade, which then transmuted to derive the final grade for the semester. So I will give the floor to teacher. Teacher Allison.
So I'm going to discuss how is the learner progress reported. So the summary of learner progress is shown quarterly to parents and kindergarten through a parent-teaching teacher conference in which the report card is discussed. So this is the table. This table show how the learner's progress is reported to the parents or the guardian. So it uses 5 categories to describe the performance. First is the outstanding or that excellent performance with a grading scale of 90 to 100%. Next is very satisfactory or the good performance with a grading scale of 85 to 89%. Next is the satisfactory or the adequate performance with a grading scale of 80 to 84%. Fairly satisfactory or the below performance with a grading scale of 75 to 79%. And the last one is the did not meet expectation or the unsatisfactory performance with a grading scale of below 75. So these results are shared quarterly during the teachers and parents meeting. Next is to be discussed by this section.
Okay, so how are learners promoted and retained at the end of the school year? For grade 1, 2, 3 learners requirements, final grade of at least 75 in all learning areas. Decision promoted to the next grade level kung lahat kay at least 75 na grade sa learning areas, sa all learning areas, pwede ka mo next level. So, did not meet expectations in not more than 2 learning areas, must pass remedial classes for the learning areas with failing marks to be promoted to the next grade level. Otherwise, the learners stay in the same grade level. So, if dili ka pasar sa mga student or wala kami ni expectations, is pwede siya mo remedial. But if that remedial is fail, gihapon is mo retain ang sa ka-studente. Okay, so next, did not meet expectations in 3 or more learnings. So, kanina is more than 2 learning areas. There is did not meet expectations in 3 or more. So, tulo mataas na nila learning areas. Retain in the same grade level. So, dili wala dyan yung pag-asa ng mo remedial ka sa ibang klase, but to retain the same grade level. For grade 4 to 10 learners, final grade of at least 75 in all learning areas, promoted to the next grade level. So, pwede na ka kung next level or mumukuha ka sa apat. And then, did not expectation in more than 2 learning areas. So, kami is sa grade 4 to 10, kung dili ka makamit sa expectations 2 or more learning areas, kaya mas pass remedial classes for learning areas with failing mark to be promoted to the next grade level. Otherwise, the learner is retained in the same grade level. So, imuha yung remedial must be passed, no? Para magkakuan ka sa next grade level. So, did not meet expectation in 3 or more learning areas, retained in the same grade level. Kung wala dyan ka, ma-meet, kung iligid, ibang graduates, wala dyan ma-meet sa expectations sa 3 or more learning areas, ikaw, sa estudyante, ma-retain ka na grade level. Next is must pass all learning areas in the elementary. Earn the elementary certificate, promotion to junior high school. Naanay certificate sa imong pag-graduate sa elementary, you can proceed to the junior high school. Na-promote ka. Must pass all the learning areas in the junior high school. Earn the junior high school certificate and promoted to senior high school certificate. Certificate is very important when you kung magka-enroll ka, no? Importante din na siya, usag na siya sa mga requirements niya, very important, para ma-promote or makasunod ka sa next level. Like dili, kaya kung makapasar ka sa junior high school, ikaw, if na kaya naka-earn ka din ako certificate pag junior high school mo, you can Teacher Charlie.
So, to continue is the grade level, grade 2 learners, the requirements is the final grade of at least 75 in all learning areas in a semester. So, this decision will, or the students will be able to proceed to the next semester, guys. Grade 11 and grade 12, kailangan siya first semester and second semester. So, if she or he passed the first semester, automatically she can proceed or he can proceed to the next semester, which is the second semester. However, if he did not meet or he or she did not meet expectations in a prerequisite subject in a learning area, he or she must pass remedial classes for failed competencies in the subject before being allowed to enroll in the higher level subject. So, subject, specific subject na hambun siya, he or she might need to take remedial classes. If did not meet expectations in any subject or learning area at the end of the semester, the decision will be he or she must pass remedial classes for failed competencies in the subject or learning areas to be allowed to enroll in the next semester. Otherwise, the learner must retake the subjects failed. So, if ma-failed sa specific subject, mag-take siya remedial classes, haron maka-proceed siya sa next semester. But, good thing if the students will be able to pass all subject or learning areas in senior high school, and syempre, the student will be able to earn the senior high school certificate and be able to proceed to the next grade level, which will be the grade 12. And if grade 12, he or she can proceed to first year college. So next will be the grade 12, and muna dito siya sa both grade 11 and 12 guide. Same lang sila first semester and second semester. Muna sila first semester and second semester. So, summative assessments are also given during remedial classes. So, these are computed, weighted, and transmuted in the same way as the quarterly grade. So, during the remedial classes, the teacher will give this, and this will be recorded as well as the same way sa quarterly grade competition. And the equivalent of the final grade for remedial classes is the remedial class mark. So, in the final grade at the end of the school year, and the remedial class mark are average. So, if the recomputed final grade is 75 or better, that's the makaproceed ang sa class natin. So, grade 1 to 12, student is promoted to the next grade level. And grade 11 to 12, for subjects that are prerequisite for other subjects, students is able to enroll in the higher level learning area. So, the main core of this is that if the student will be able to pass, that's the sign or that's the point that he or she can proceed to the other grade level. So, however, if the recomputed final grade is below 75, for grade 1 to 10, student is retaining the grade level. So, syempre, if medyo madalas sa remedial classes or isa pa mga approaches or other alternative strategies para makuha na sa estudyante ang specific na grade para makaproceed sila, muna dyan na ang basis na makapilin din sila or balik sila ang grade level. And in the grade 11 and 12, if ang ilang final grade is below 75, balik na ang remedial, students need to retain the subject because as what I have said earlier, grade 11 and 12 will divide siya first semester and second semester, and you can hindi mo mapasar na subject. Syempre, and if ma-fail ka, pwede na natin mo siya i-take, balikan mo na nga specific subject. So, if grade 11 to 12, for subjects that are prerequisite for other subjects, the institution of the students will not be allowed to enroll in the higher level learning areas. So, if that subject, what yung niya na pasar, that will be the basis that the student, hindi siya proceed to the higher level or higher grade. So, point method, the student will be able to meet the specific grade intended for that subject. Syempre, the students will pass and will be able to proceed to the other grade level. So, di na rin siya. Pass or fail na rin siya. However, teachers can make alternative or way or how students will be able to pass. But if the students still ilang chances ihatag sa teachers or ilang alternatives kung mga remedial classes na ihatag sa teachers sa students at wala pa hapon siya naka-meet sa standards in order to pass, multinahin na ng basis na the students will retain ang balikan din sa estudyante and ang specific grade level or that specific subject. So next will be how is attendance reported to be discussed by Teacher Prisha.
Next, we will have how is attendance recorded. The first where is attendance shall be recorded by teachers daily. So of course, as a teacher, it is your job to check sa attendance ng students para ma-aware ka if now may absences or everyone is present sa iyong class. And next, attendance is summarized and reflected in the report card at the end of each quarter. So every quarter, the teacher must check attendance report. Every quarter is summarized the teacher attendance quarterly para mabutan siya sa report card. Next. So this is an example of a kanang attendance. So sa mabaw pa na ang month. Dayon, sa first line pa na ang number of school days which is 21 days sa June, 21 days sa July, 22 days, so on and so forth. My equivalent niya is the total of 200 days per academic year. And then second line is the number of days present ang students. So on at siya. Then 9 total sa pinaka-last, which is 197. And then the last one is the number of days absent. So, kanina, example, siya yung total of 3 absences during this academic year. Next.
What is
How is attendance reported? So, more than 20% absences in school year or semester result in a failing grade. So, of course, if the number of absences, it doesn't mean na makapasar na ka. So, if na may 20% na absences during that academic year, so of course, you will fail. Next, the school head may grant exemptions for valid reasons. So, hindi ba balik kaya if na may mga emergency sa balay or sa somewhere. Valid. So, lawag na sila o valid visa sa nila. Nakawag schools kaya mo, lawag na sila o maslay ka ng excuse letters. And last, if absences are unavoidable, the school provides alternative learning methods and materials to cover missed content. So, karon na testing for these classes, like, pwede online, pwede if hindi ka attend ang bata, kasi pwede siya mo-take online or pwede po, panalan siya ang modules sa iyang advisor or sa iyang mga subject teachers. Next, please, Alice. How are the core values of the Filipino child reflected in the report card that will be tackled by teacher Jessie?
So the core values of the Filipino child is reflected in the report card are makadiyos, makakalikasan, makatao, at makabasa. Next, please, Alison. So first is the development of learners' cognitive competencies and skills must be complemented by the formation of their values and attitudes. So encapsulated in the principles of makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabasa are reflected in the report card through their specific behaviors and statements and indicators. So these values emphasize respect for oneself and others, social responsibility, environmental stewardship, and
Matthew said. Number 2 is core values. Core values have been translated into behavior statement and have been formulated for each behavior statement. For instance, students are assessed on their ability to show sensitivity to cultural differences and to assess first in need. So, kung in core values, when we say behavior statement is kanang dili ibuli ang bata, kanang nasilay respect sa ilahang isika, tao or sa ilahang classmate.
Yes.
Number 3 is Alison. And number 2 mo ni siya ang gayon niya na behavior statement. Show respect for all, wait for one's turn, and use mistake as learning opportunities. Cooperate during activities, consider diverse views, communicate respectfully, accept, and celebrate other success. So, as a teacher educator, it is our duty na ma-apply na ito sa ato ang estudyante ma-gain nila na manghatag sila of respect o kanang ilang behavior is ma-reflect sa core values nato. And next is 3. Non-direct schools may modify or adapt these guidelines as appropriate to the philosophy, vision, mission, and core values of the school. So, as kada na sa classroom, di ba, mga kabante sa mga elementary kay na ipapilit sa babaw sa ilang blackboard ang mga mission, vision, and goals para kuan ang students, kanang ma-aware ang students kung sa dyan ang purpose anak nga ibutan mo sa babaw. And also, additionally, it's a non-numerical rating involving these behaviors, promoting a holistic view of student performance and goes beyond academic achievement, include moral and social development. And number 4 is schools may track additional indicators for the behavior statement. So, and kung ano is mag-adapt schools nga sa tabanay kanang ma-adapt sa mga estudyante ang mga behavior is kanang magpakita gani ang role model sa future educator kita jud ang role model sa ato mga estudyante. So, number 5, schools must ensure that these are child-centered, gender-fair, and age and culture appropriate. When we say culture appropriate, is naman dyan yung di ba nga lahi-lahi itaw ka ng
Respective.
kanang
Ituhan.
kanang agyan o gikanan, kanang lahi-lahi man ta. So, we respect we respect each others na kay as a future educator, it is our role to kuan kanang ma-apply sa atong estudyante ang core values nga atong itudlo nila. So number 6 is the non-numerical writing skills will be used to report on learners' behaviors demonstrating the core values. So this approach aims to cultivate well-rounded individuals who contribute positively to society. And last is number 7, the class advisor and other teachers shall agree on how to conduct this observation and discuss how each child will be rated. For example, if at the end of the quarter, the teachers can magpatawag sila og general meeting sa tanan nga parents para ma-discuss nila kung unsa ang behavior sa ilang estudyante inside the school. So, next, I will give the floor to Teacher Krisha.
And next, we have the sample report card. The one name sample report card. This is the report card for grades 1 to 10. So, they have sa left side guide. So, then, report on learning progress and achievements. So, naanda sa learning areas kaya yung mga subjects. Then, quarter, kaya final grade and remarks. Sa quarter, ginanda na first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Then, i-add up na siya naman. That will be the final grade for student. And then remarks Then, tapos the general average. So, naay mga scales ang kanang grade sa bata. If ang ilang grades in a range of 90 to 100, it means outstanding siya. Then, if 85 to 89, very satisfactory. Then, 80 to 84 is satisfactory. Then, 75 to 79, very satisfactory. Then, below 75, did not meet the expectations. It means humble. Then, there is a big aside, another core values na another, may mga remarks and how okay, outstanding na or need to be observed. Next. Then, sa liko, this is sample card for the grades 11 to 12. So, money ang first page. Meron ay name sa bata, age, and then grades, and attendance, their parents or guardian signature, their next. So, lahi ang report card sa lower grades, which is senior high. So, dili kay by semester man sila, dili sila by quarter. So, sa first semester, kay nadara ang klaro, gray ay kanang subjects sa midterms. First semester, o second semester, dayon nila kay quarter na ba so? Quarter na. Quarter, dayon ituka ka na siya og kaduha ang first semester, which is the midterms sa final, so wala na siya tuha yung final grades. Same as the second semester din. Same as na sila sa pinasaya. Next. Then we have the conclusion.
Okay, so to conclude our lesson for today, classroom assessment in the K-12 basic education program is a learner-centered process that values inclusivity, adaptability, and skills development. It equips the learners with the knowledge, skills, and mindset needed for lifelong learning and success in the modern world. So, the classroom assessment framework of the K-12 curriculum is a vital as it ensures that assessments are aligned with learning standards and competencies, promoting holistic development across cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. So, that would be all. Thank you.